So now let's get into why her marriage really ended, which was a combination of reasons that all are on her head. Now, we've already went into the fact that she wasn't willing to give up her social media presence and her activism to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. But somehow that was his fault because he was supposed to give up his career as a federal agent, a career that he had when he met her. And obviously they mutually agreed that she would be a stay-at-home mom while he brought home the bacon, but she did a bait and switch after the fact, after the child was born, wanted to have her cake, wanted to eat it too, wanted to be an activist and produce content, and also be a stay-at-home mom. You can't actually do both. One is a full-time job, the other is a full-time job. How are you going to do either well if you're splitting yourself between two worlds? And his job made enough money to support you and the kid. You were very clear that you agreed to that, but then you got tired, you got disillusioned with the mommy-at-home lifestyle, meaning you missed all of the attention and validation from your simp army. As you were still very young, you got some looks left and you've got some ass shaking you still need to do to get some views and attention from random strangers. So the hell with your kid and your husband. That's number one reason it failed. And number two, you married the guy too quick. You married him after 4 months. While you were still in the honeymoon phase, you barely knew the guy, you'd never lived with him. And now it turns out she allegedly had an affair with Destiny. And where does this come from? Some confrontations that others have had with Destiny, questioning him about it, and he refuses to answer, as well as the ex-husband speaking to Rollo Tomasi and telling him directly that she cheated on him with this goblin, this troll, this goofy bobblehead looking mofo that is, suffering from, I guess you could call it a mild to a moderate case of autism. And he's pretty atrocious in his view of the world, his politics, his ideology. This guy is one of the worst humans I've ever encountered, but he's got a lot of social media clout. And, that fame, that clout, just Lauren Southern couldn't resist it. Wait till you see this guy. So we're going to see a little video here about him so you get some background, get some context, get an idea of who I'm talking about and who she actually had an affair with and cheated on her husband with. And that's one of the main reasons her marriage ended. Not all the gobbledygook BS that she's been spewing lately.
13 years, I've met who almost every single person that inhabits the streaming YouTube world is a horrible human being. I'm grateful for the incredibly few people, less than 10 and 13 years, I've met who haven't turned out to be that way. An oddly general moral judgment from Destiny. Given some of Destiny's recent behavior, I think this statement is rather hypocritical. Most notably, he lied about his transparency to justify leaking someone else's personal problems in an attempt to ruin their career. Before we get into that and how it ties into Lauren Southern, let's take a look at this clip from a recent debate panel. They're talking about the concepts of privacy and gossip.
Andrew, do you understand the difference? If a person wants to be public about a relationship that we've had, or if a person wants to come out and make statements about it, then sure, then I'll do that. That's
about a relationship we've had. So he basically said, yes, I had a relationship with Lauren Southern, and the time frame is when she was married, she wasn't separated, she wasn't divorced, she was still with her husband, supposedly trying to make it work. Well, her way of making it work was to cheat on her husband with this blue-haired, spindly, ugly thing who is a rabid leftist. Okay.
fine. But that's a lot different than speculating on have you this person, have you that person.
Why did you ask
You just admitted it.
BX Bullet who she You asked BX Bullet if she on Zerka.
I didn't ask her if
You did. I have the DM. You want to see it?
Yeah, because I was playing with her and John.
Okay, so you did ask her. So you did ask her. So why can't I ask
This
you?
doesn't matter, Andrew. This doesn't
Why
matter.
can I ask you, bro?
There's another, Destiny butt kisser. Not so erudite. Yeah, she's definitely not erudite at all.
Andrew, you can ask me.
Yeah.
When I was asking BX Bullet, it's because I was shit slinging and being gossipy. The difference is I'll admit when I am.
So hang on. So it's not okay for me to do it. It's just okay for you to do it?
This
So he can ask other people the same question he objects to because he admits he's being a gossip. But you can't ask him unless you add the caveat that you are gossiping. I don't know what he's objecting to. Makes no sense.
is the epitome of bad faith. First, he lies about participating in a specific instance of gossip because he took the position of gossip bad, when Andrew of
Yeah.
the Crucible says he has receipts of this exchange.
And then he says, I'm doing it because I'm gossiping, but gossip's bad. This guy's so lacking in self-awareness. Why does anybody listen to this schlub? He's a moron.
Destiny then admits, yes, he did participate in that gossip, and that he's justified in doing so because at least he's honest about it, but he literally just lied about it. It's worth noting how quickly and comfortably he's able
This! Lauren Southern slept with this. Does anybody think she slept with this for any other reason than some kind of clout, for some kind of exposure, for some kind of social media gain? This woman has a history of doing this. There's a long string of men in the conservative movement that she slept with just so she could gain clout, gain access to their audiences, gain access to their thoughts and beliefs and right-wing talking points so she could then peddle those as her own.
to engage in bad faith while keeping a smug attitude. He knows he's lying in the first place, and he knows he's being manipulative when he uses his non-existent honesty as a justification. This happens when Destiny is pressed about the Lauren Southern drama. Lauren Southern gained popularity in the political sphere
Whoa,
by
whoa, whoa, whoa,
espousing
wait a second, I wanna
alternative
read
when
that.
he uses his non-existent honesty as a justification. This happens when Destiny is pressed
Destiny was about to leave Melina over Lauren Southern of all people. Wow! He was going to leave his wife over for Lauren Southern. And Lauren Southern was going to leave her husband for Destiny? Gee, I wonder why. How many followers does Destiny have? Millions. How much money does he have? Millions! In excess of 10 million, probably. Gee, I wonder what incentive she could have to get with somebody like Destiny, because it's certainly... But is it shared values? He was going to leave his wife, Melina, so that implies that Lauren was also willing to leave her husband. That tells me that she probably has more in common with lefty, socialist, pinko, commie Destiny than she does her supposed right-wing conservative husband. Gee, I wonder why that marriage didn't work out. Yeah.
about the Lauren Southern drama. Lauren Southern gained popularity in the political sphere by espousing alt-right ideas.
You mean pretending, performing, performatively faking alt-right belief in those ideas? Yeah.
However, her current political direction is a bit unclear. The rumor is that Destiny and Lauren were having an affair. Supposedly, they were both so close they were willing to leave their spouses for each other.
I believe it. I believe it because, like I've said before, she's really left-wing and a diehard feminist. She just pretends to be on the right and conservative because it's a grift and a space that has worked for her and funded her lifestyle to date. So that's all that's about.
Another more scandalous rumor is that Lauren got pregnant by Destiny and then terminated it. When Andrew presses Destiny on this, he refuses to answer for privacy reasons.
Then let me ask you a question directly. Answer it directly. Did you Lauren Southern?
It's hard to say for sure because
Just
What do you mean it's hard to say for sure? He doesn't know who he banged? What?
answer the question. Did you have
doing the thing right now?
You're just deflecting.
I'm
you're-
not deflecting.
I love Iridette. She's one of these. She's another one of these Destiny hanger-ons. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she banged that Destiny as well.
You're deflecting.
I'm not trying to make
You're deflecting. Just answer the question.
No, I don't talk about my personal life with anybody.
And that
What is he talking about? Destiny has spent years talking about his personal life. He shows up on the Whatever podcast talking about the benefits of polyamory and having an open marriage. He goes on a whole bunch of other podcasts, preaching to people about polyamory, telling people how to have successful, good relationships. Yeah, and his marriage failed. All this guy has done for years is talk about his life in depth. But somehow now he's, he's reticent to talk about his personal life. Ooh, as he continues to talk about his personal life.
Okay, how?
But we know,
Just because of gossipy
right?
people like you.
Interesting. So on one hand, he doesn't talk about his personal life with anybody because it's a policy he has to combat gossip. On the other hand, his life is super open, and that somehow justifies him trying to cancel Sneeko by leaking his personal information.
So I know for a fact that story was real. Now, I didn't say anything at the time because it's not my place to get involved in like that personal, because I'm not like in the business of like shit slinging your personal life. But I mean, like, if we want to go like really personal, we can. You can bring up my kid all you want, and you can bring up my status all you want. My life.
Yeah, by the way, Destiny has a child out of wedlock. I don't know how old the kid is, but apparently he pays child support. I'm sure it's a big nut, by the way. This guy has kids. Yeah, a lot of desperate broads out there, apparently.
Life is totally open. My life is super open, right? Like, I know so much shit, right? If you want to like try to dig out like the same 2 personal attacks people have used against me for 5 years, like, go.
Didn't you just say your life is super open, which means you talk about it all the time? So clearly you don't have a policy about talking about your personal life until it comes to a subject you don't want to discuss.
Go for it. But your life is way more secret. And like, if we were to start digging out your, like, bro, it would be over. Like, I mean, like,
If this was just a simple case of cheating, I wouldn't be talking about it. But if he's going to lie about how open his life is to justify treacherous behavior, I'm
So according to Counterpoints, Destiny, the Omni-Liberal, and Lauren Southern had some sort of affair. Currently all posts in Destiny subreddit talking about it are being deleted. Imagine that!
going to call it out. To be clear, Destiny didn't full-on leak Sneeko's personal life, but rather gave his audience a bit of a sample of private information. Then he says he knows more that could destroy Sneeko. This may sound more diplomatic than a full leak, but in a way, this can lead the audience with an even worse idea of Sneeko's private actions.
Right, because it leaves the people lacking information, so their imaginations fill in the gaps. Something that Destiny would know people tend to do when lacking information and just getting some negative inferences. Now look at this guy with his blue hair. I find it interesting, by the way. He objects to people questioning him about his personal life as he leaks deeply personal and damaging information about others. What a freaking hypocrite.
This is the kind of move I would expect from Milo Yiannopoulos, not Destiny.
Oh, give me a break. I like Milo.
I think it's a good thing to have boundaries regarding privacy, but if Destiny is a public figure who sleeps with other public figures and he's in a polyamorous marriage with a public figure, if he's
Who divorced him for a pathetic beta loser. But at least the guy's probably not a cuck. He probably didn't let her sleep with other people, so, he's better than Destiny in that way, no doubt. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he does let her sleep with other people. Who knows?
He's going to bring his wife onto red pill shows to debate what makes a healthy relationship, if he's going to lie about how open his life is and disrespect others' privacy.
What is that, a Nintendo, a Game Boy? This guy, is he so fidgety, so lacking in ability to pay attention or focus that he needs to have a gaming console, a little gaming toy thing with him at all times? Pathetic. How old is this guy, 38?
Then why would he expect anyone to respect his sense of privacy? So I feel zero guilt speculating here. Did Destiny sleep with Lauren? This will border on conspiratorial at times, so take this all with a grain of salt.
Okay.
The rumor started to take off last year on kiwi farms. There's nothing concrete, but there's plenty of circumstantial evidence. Lauren and Destiny following and unfollowing each other on Twitter, taking vacations at the same time as one another, Destiny regularly mentioning Lauren on stream.
That's very odd. Now, notice the way she talked about her marriage. Like, she tried to do everything right, never did anything wrong, yet she's taking vacations without her husband. This was during the time she was married and had a child. And she's leaving the kid, go on vacations alone. Does that sound like the kind of thing that married women should be doing? Yeah, but she's traditional and conservative, guys.
defending her against his own chat, and Melina, Destiny's wife, and Lauren have also switched between following and unfollowing each other on Twitter, which would suggest conflict. Although that doesn't prove anything, given the nature of Destiny's poly relationship, it makes sense. Then, in March of earlier this year, Mr. Girl dropped the Destiny report. I'm really busting out the best sources for this one. Not So Erudite, a Destiny orbiter, brings up how Mr. Girl leaked confidential information on Destiny, apparently referring to a woman Destiny had an affair with. Mr. Girl reached out to the woman, but she didn't want the story told. Once again, this isn't concrete, but it
By the way, had an affair with, since his marriage is open, they're not talking about him. Had an affair, meaning she was married.
definitely points to Lauren. When Destiny describes his relationship on podcasts, it sounds like he's reading from a poly brochure, but the Kiwi Post claims Destiny's connection with Lauren has nearly ended his marriage, which would mean it's more tumultuous than he leads on. Would Destiny's behavior in relationships contribute to this?
Dude, I wish I would have filmed my shit with Rachel. I wouldn't have any fans today because you guys would probably think I'm a abuser too. Guaranteed, because you better believe I had to choke her out a few times.
Choke her out a few times? What? You people on the left follow this guy? He's an abuser. He's a woman abuser. Literal abuser. Like what abuse actually means. Choke her out a few times? Wow.
That shit got crazy. Hell yeah, it did.
Well, that doesn't really sound like an intimate scenario. He had to choke her out. That sounds more like domestic violence to me. And
Is it just me or did he sound crazy there? This guy's a nut. This guy's a nut.
in a deleted Twitch clip, he apparently said, "But if Melina starts crying or we're having an argument, I'd say, listen, I'm gonna go play Minecraft, come talk to me when you're done crying, cause I can't sit here and listen to you cry. I'm wasting the few minutes of free time I have in the day. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you cry." Dude, I'm a real rough person to be in a relationship with, so anyone who survives in a relationship with me for more than like 6 months, props to them, because they're going through some severe psychological abuse, alright? It's a hard thing to deal with. I'm not joking.
This guy, Lauren Southern, was in a relationship with this? That chick must have some real low self-esteem, or she's getting something out of it. I wonder. And it's not a relationship with this guy that benefits her psychologically. Listen to this guy. If you're in a relationship with me, you're going to undergo some serious psychological abuse, which I'm sure his now ex-wife could attest to.
At this point, I gotta say, for someone who claims their life is super open, a lot of Destiny clips have been scrubbed from the internet. Anyway, these instances are from years ago. Maybe he's not quite as psychotic now. The hypothetical being posed in this next clip is,
I think he's just getting better at hiding it. I think he's just as psychotic as ever.
if Trump was in jail and pardoning him prevented a civil war, would you do it? Destiny's answer is unhinged to say the least.
I would say at that point, I hate to do the leftist fear or whatever, a civil war needs to happen because you have people that are fundamentally incompatible with American democracy at that point, and at that point, the only solution is to boot them.
Fundamentally incompatible with American democracy, meaning a dude got voted into office that the majority of people wanted to get voted in, so now we need to have a civil war and kill millions of people because they voted for somebody I don't like, which is democracy.
Donald Trump was an anti-democratic president that you want to allow the Republicans to have flirted with for 4 years and then to walk away from the consequences.
By the way, how is he anti-democratic? Nobody has been able to tell me how exactly he's anti-democratic.
It has a better
If
outcome for the
if it saves millions and millions of lives.
Part of the outcomes, yeah, the millions of lives that voted for a fascist leader, that's the consequence of it. If that is what it is, then that is what it is.
Us too, though, Destiny. Us
Yeah,
too, though.
it's going to
They're
kill a
killing
lot
men,
of
a lot
liberals
guns.
too. A lot of men, women, and
But-
children.
I just want to say, I want to give Destiny what he wants. I want to give Stitch what he wants. I think a civil war would be justified if Trump were successful.
So that's crazy. A civil war would be justified if Trump was elected. Same people that say you're not allowed to deny elections or question election results when their candidate wins, that is. Yeah, these people don't care about anything other than power.
Well, I didn't realize any real human lives would actually be lost in this. I thought we were just purging the country of conservative scum. But now that I realize real human beings would die, yeah, that's rough. See, I was imagining more of a Rwanda kind of situation. That would be awesome. Well, his rhetoric is as psychotic and violent as ever. Couple all
Yeah, and yet people follow this guy religiously.
This with the fact that he's willing to lie and manipulate, then obviously he would have some problems with his relationships, romantic or not. Continuing with the Lauren Destiny timeline, around June this year, Rollo Tomasi, godfather of the Red Pill, claimed he had insider info on Lauren terminating a pregnancy, assuming it's Destiny's. Unfortunately for Rollo, the so-called insider information came directly from Lauren Southern and Brittany Venti, both pretending.
So this Brittany Venti broad, uber feminist, uber left-winger, and Lauren Southern, her friends. Don't you become friends with people who are like you? But I thought Lauren was a tradcon conservative.
To be fans of his. Speaking of Brittany, without her, I wouldn't have that cool clip of Destiny laughing about physically abusing his ex. Thanks, doll. I will say they did a good job getting Rollo. He was the perfect mark, but just...
By the way, that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen. A lot of times people try to gaslight you and present something that actually happened, but in a way that's fake and false. Okay, this did happen, but I'm going to present it in another way. I'm going to manufacture some evidence and going to portray it to you here. And that way, if the truth ever actually comes out, nobody will believe it because they'll just think it's some kind of psyop, that it's some kind of conspiracy, that it's the made-up story that we use to get Rollo. So I think that pregnancy may have indeed happened, the one that led her to getting an abortion, and I think that's just, on her part, a clever way of muddying the waters and covering for herself in case the truth actually ever comes out. Then people just won't believe it when it does.
because they tricked Rollo doesn't change any of the circumstantial evidence about Lauren and Destiny's relationship. Was all of this orchestrated?
It also doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It just didn't happen in this particular way with these particular forms. These forms represent a made-up abortion that is probably been done to cover up for a very real one.
Simply for a gotcha moment? Or is there a motivation other than just dunking on Rollo? Brittany Venti and Lauren Southern have been friends for a while now. Brittany and Destiny are both currently on an anti-red pill arc. Not only do these three people have a vested interest against Rollo, but it's ideal for all of them for the Lauren Destiny drama to stay quiet. Perhaps this was all orchestrated not just for the sake of a prank. Perhaps the greater motivation is misdirection, leading people to think something along the lines of, well, Rollo made a fool of himself trying to cover the Destiny Lauren drama, guess it didn't happen. There's no way to prove that this was their intent, but given Destiny's behavior and the circumstantial evidence, I'm convinced the affair happened, and that tricking Rollo was for the sake of misdirection. More important.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Importantly, Destiny lies about his transparency to justify attacking others. All of this makes it quite rich that he basically calls every other streamer a horrible human being. I understand that there's a lot of bad people on the internet, but Destiny would probably have a better time finding or identifying good people if he could be a decent person. Almost every single person that inhabits the streaming YouTube world is a horrible human being. Well, maybe if he stopped lying, maybe if he stopped manipulating, maybe if he stopped engaging in bad faith arguments, he would find some decent people. Alright, that's gonna have to do it for this one. Shout out to the best.
So, yeah, well, of course, that's how Destiny is. He's a postmodernist. He doesn't care about being right or wrong. He just cares about winning, cares about coming out on top, cares about being in power, cares about being perceived as the winner. Doesn't matter if he actually won, if he was actually right, just so long as people perceive him as being right and victorious and dominant. Doesn't matter, because after all, perception is reality. So there you go. There you go. In my opinion, she absolutely, positively had an affair with Destiny. I would not be surprised if it almost broke up Destiny's marriage, and obviously it broke up her marriage. The dude left her in Australia, one of the top 5 feminist countries in the world. So if a dude breaks up with you and divorces you in Australia, you know you must be one of the most insufferable human beings on the planet, because of all the possible negative consequences that could come about in such a gynocentric, pro-woman, pro-feminist country like Australia. So I believe most of this stuff. And I actually also believe that the abortion happened. I think that was just a misdirection tactic. So if the truth ever did come out, as I said, people wouldn't believe it actually happened. And that extends to the affair as well. But let me know what you think. Do you think Lauren and Destiny exchanged bodily fluids? Do you think there was something going on there? And if so, why doesn't she want us to know about it? Why is all this being hidden? Could it be because it would totally, completely, 100% demolish the fake, faux, false persona she puts forward of a traditional conservative woman? Or do you think this is all just conspiracy theory nonsense put out there by Lauren Southern haters? This just been spun out of thin air. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like. Leave a comment. Subscribe. And on that note, I'm out of here. Take care.